Yes or no, are we still putting children in cages?
To my knowledge, CBP never purposely put a child in a cage if you mean a cage like this.
Purposely or whatever, are we putting children in cages as of today?
Children are processed at the border facility stations that you've been at. Some of them.
And I've seen the cages. I just want you to admit that the cages exist.
Sir, they're not cages.
Welcome back to AM Joy. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen refused to call a cage when she appeared before a House panel that was investigating Donald Trump's border and family separation policies. She struggled with semantics even more when New Jersey Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman asked her this.
What is a chain link fence enclosed into a chamber on a concrete floor represent to you? Is that a cage?
It's a detention space, ma'am.
Does it differ from the cages you put your dogs in when you let them stay outside? Is it different?
Yes.
In what sense?
It's larger. It has facilities. It provides room to sit, to stand, to lay down.
So did my dog's cage.
Joining me now is Reverend Kaji Dosha, co-chair of the New Sanctuary Coalition, who learned this week that Customs and Border Protection has a dossier on her and has flagged her passport due to her advocacy work tied to the migrant caravan. Also joining me is Bishop William Barber, co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign. Thank you both for being here. And Reverend Dosha, I want to start with you. Give us a little bit about what happened and how you wound up on essentially a watch list.
I'm not sure how I wound up on the watch list and didn't know until the story broke a couple of days ago, but I have journeyed to the border to meet with, pray for, and marry, actually officiate marriages for people as part of the migrant caravan in Tijuana. And as I was coming back from Tijuana, I was detained and interrogated by Customs and Border Patrol for several hours, and they apparently have revoked my Century and Global Entry privileges.
What does that mean?
It means that I have a flag on my passport. I believe I would not be able to travel to Mexico if I tried.
Bishop William Barber, I know that you have also been to the border and prayed for those who are attempting to reach here and gain asylum. What does it mean when the federal government is flagging pastors to put them on a watch list to say that they cannot go and pray for migrants, but they are refusing to call a cage where children are in a cage?
Well, first of all, as pastors, we are supposed to do exactly what Reverend Dosha is doing. As clergy, speak up for the needy, the poor, those who cannot speak for themselves. One of the greatest sins in the Bible is mistreatment of the immigrant. But look at the hypocrisy, Joy. This administration, on one hand, talks about religious freedom when it comes to the LGBTQ and those who want to criticize them, but then targets pastors they disagree with. Now, this reminds me of what they did to civil rights leaders, COINTEL, McCarthyism, the Red Scare, and think about the extremism and the racism we've seen this week. We got lies and refusal to call a cage by the racist caging of brown children. We have over 190 congresspersons refusing to support a bill to stop racist voter suppression. Over 20 Republican congressmen saying they will not even vote against hate, racism, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism. I mean, a black immigrant woman being targeted because she dared to speak and being said that she said things she didn't even say. A judge giving a multi-convicted felon a few years when homeless people can go to jail for years for just stealing some food. And even one clergy judge this week had the nerve, one of the so-called white evangelists, to say the Democratic Party is not only anti-Semitic, it is godless. We are in a deep, deep, deep moral crisis, and it's a dangerous crisis when the government is being used in this way to target people who would dare criticize it.
And you know, Reverend Dosha, I mean, you had this week, Kirstjen Nielsen, who's the Department of Homeland Security head, deny that people were being deny that people were being turned away in their asylum claims. She just straight out denied it, just like she denied children were in cages. You've been to the border. Is that true?
Of course, people are being turned away. We have tried to accompany all kinds of people who normally would be able to cross under extreme circumstances like unaccompanied minors or people who are vulnerable because they're LGBT, especially trans folks. Usually they are able to cross much more quickly, but they've been turning everybody away and putting them in vulnerable situations as they wait at the border with growing numbers.
And then when you were interrogated by ICE or by CPB or by
CBP.
What did they want to know?
They wanted to know who I met with, why I was there, how many times I've crossed. They had a dossier on me, so they were trying to see if I would lie to them, which I never did. They wanted to know if we were encouraging people to cross illegally, why we would even meet with the people. And we said, we don't encourage anyone to do anything illegal. They wanted to know if we were part of the protests, and they falsely claim that I have this dossier because I was part of protests in Mexico, which I was not.
Did you get the sense that they were looking to arrest you?
I don't know. I didn't have that sense.
Yeah, and Bishop Barber, you know, we're in, as you've I think correctly said, a moral crisis where we can't get the person in charge of this policy to even acknowledge that children are in cages when reporters, including our own Jacob Sobroff and others, have seen them. Senators have seen them. So I don't know how we get out of this when Republicans still control one half of the first branch of government, and they aren't going to change their mind.
Well, Democrats have to stand strong in the part of the government they do control. Clergy and pastors have to refuse to bow. We've seen this before in our nation's history. And as Tracy Blackman said, supporting Reverend Dawson in a written piece, we refuse to bow. This is our God right. This is our First Amendment right. We have to continue to protest in the streets. The 100 million people that did not vote in the last election must turn out and vote now. We have to be concerned and take back this democracy.
Amen. Bishop William Barber, thank you very much. Reverend Kaji Dosha, please keep us updated on what's happening with you. Thank you both so much. And coming up.